We're here today recording my brother Derek Gray on drums here in the studio, and I'm very excited to share with you the pretty epic recording setup that we have. The goal and the intent, of course, is to be able to have a really robust close capture of the kit, to be able to have a very, very detailed sort of modern presentation of the drum set in the mix, but also blending that with a pretty specific room capture with an immersive array. But I'll start here on the close mics. So with the close mics, we're going for a very intimate, hyper-detailed capture of the drum set. Starting with the overheads, we've done LCR here, and it's really awesome with the immersive speaker array to actually be able to fill the front wall of LC&R with decorrelated content. These are Shep's MK4s with the pads on them, all measured equidistant to the snare, feeling absolutely full and clear and detailed. The idea of actually presenting the drums as an LCR overhead capture is something that's sounding really awesome, and the Sheps are doing a great job. When we come down here to the kick, we have the Wonder CM7 FET mic. I love that mic. It sounds fantastic on the outside of the kick. The sub kick is doing a pretty awesome job of feeding the LFE discreetly. You know, that's a common thing in immersive mixing, especially with Atmos, where we'll use subharmonic content generation to feed an LFE. It's amazing getting it at source and tracking with it and feeling it. It's so good. And then on the beater side, a 906 for that tight punch. We come to the snare drum. Both Alex Gamble and myself, we love the 441s on snares. And underneath the 421, so the snare drum's got a lot of love there. Just great dynamic microphones. Alex really loves 414s on toms, and I mean, I do too. I'm used to putting 421s, but I was so happy that he set up the 414s in hypercardioid. The bleed's not there, and the tone is just huge. A 77 here that's sort of getting crushed through a distressor, just sounding pretty cool. Another Sheps on hi-hat, this time an MK41 capsule, so it's a hypercard. And then out here, a Samar Audio VL37A, which are the ribbon mics that we've been loving a lot on lots of sources on this project. There's a pair of them that have been, Alex sort of found a spot and was looking for the right spot to do a stereo capture of the kit at a medium distance, and then they're being sort of really crushed through 1176s. And then over the Mark tree, which is not getting used too much, but it's pretty cool that we have a USM69 stereo mic on that. The immersive side of it is now bringing in this 11-channel array. Very, very similar positioning to what we did with piano, in the sense of just figuring out exactly, what's the right height, what's the right distance. Something that Alex did, which is quite awesome, is making sure that the center front mic of the 11-channel array, which is all Shep's MK4s, is phase aligned with the snare drum mic so that there's not getting a cancellation there. And so distance from the kit was very, very important in that capacity. And then it's an equidistant cardioid array of Shep's MK4s, 7 on the main layer, 4 on the top layer, 45-degree angles on the tops, and then following the sort of the array positions of the speakers in a common Atmos array, and an M150 in the center, which is going to also feed LFE content. So from a mixing standpoint, it's pretty amazing. You can have this really close, tight drum sound. I mean, the preamps as well are playing a big role. I know sometimes I haven't talked about them in all of these, but in the drum capacity, we are maxing the studio out. We're hitting all the ferns, the VT7 compressor for kick. We're hitting the VT2s on the way in for a bunch of things. The Hazel rig stuff on the way in. We've maxed out some BAE preamps that we have here. The SSL desk is getting used. Some of the SSL comps, the EQs, the Pultecs are getting used. The 1176s are getting used. The APIs are being used on the toms. Yeah, we're really having a blast of just, trying to use the tools that we have here at the studio to just get the capture of the drums as honest as possible and dialed in as possible on the way in. I know that it's something that we all like to do, but we wanted to really create the time in this project to be able to capture things at source as close to the final intent as possible, and it's been quite inspiring to do so. And then when you're sitting in the mix room, which is, we're in a 914 array in there, bringing up the immersive array is just bringing up the realism of the room. Now, sometimes in some songs, you want that. Sometimes you want to dial it back a little bit, but even just a little bit of it is this sense of glue where we're used to in stereo room mics using that to bring in that sense of glue. Well, the sense of glue that happens and the sense of just honest presentation, especially with more dynamic drumming with the immersive array, is absolutely fantastic. We do have 29 microphones up on the drums, and I know that's a lot, but the intent is for the microphones to disappear. And I hope that we are doing that justice and achieving it with this intent. And I think it's pretty cool that 11 plus 4, so we've got 15 Sheps in the mix. And I'm just such a huge fan of these microphones. There are a few people in the city, Jeremy Darby, Drew Jureka, Andrew Mullen, 3 good friends where we all have shared our Sheps collections to be able to put this many. In fact, the studio right now has 17 Sheps bodies and 14 MK4 capsules, a couple 21s, couple MK2s. So anyways, it's a big, and it's not meant to be an ad in that way, but they're just wonderful mics, and they're really playing well with this space. They're playing well with the tonality of this space. And all of our tests, we did some tests with the drums earlier this year a couple of times over the last 6 months of trying out drums, trying out different arrays, omni arrays, smaller arrays, larger arrays, and really, really happy to have finally dialed this in a way that feels supportive to the performance and most importantly to the production. So enjoy the music, everybody. Thank you.